It's another beautiful Sunday. Welcome to Iron Port. Iron Port is brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Gold PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority-GPHA, and our media partner is the Business and Financial Times, BNFT. Get the Thursday edition of the BNFT newspaper for all the insights you will be missing from the discussion this evening. Remember, you can also join us live all our social media handles. On Facebook, we're streaming live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, also at the Port of Tema, and on YouTube, we're streaming live at Iron Port. Remember, you can also get the opportunity to interact with us via our dedicated WhatsApp line 0538037353, 0538037353. We will also be opening the phone lines in the course of the show for you to make your contributions towards the discussion. So grab your phones, let's get interactive. I will introduce to you my guest shortly after this break.
Energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP, available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefi. Goil, good energy. Yeah, yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Welcome to today's edition of Serene Insurance Business News. We present to you Serena.
You're right. You can complete an entire insurance process for the purchase of any motor and other insurance products, from onboarding to issuing a motor insurance sticker and policy certificate, all on WhatsApp in less than 10 minutes. Serena is simple to use and it prioritizes user ease and flexibility. You can either use voice notes or text to effortlessly issue your instant policy, cross-platform renewals, claims, and also process your payments through mobile money, Visa, and MasterCard. To engage Serena, just search for Serena Insurance on all social media handles and scan the Serena barcode or save her number 0500 517 114 and start chatting her on WhatsApp immediately.
There you have it. Serena is not just a tool. It's an innovation by Serene Insurance designed to redefine how motor and travel insurance are accessed and managed. Speed, convenience, and reliability.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
At Phoenix Insurance, we make the unpredictable predictable and the uncertain certain with our range of products, including motor insurance, fire insurance, engineering insurance, marine insurance, accident insurances, and all types of bonds. We have you covered. We also support you with risk management advice to enable you stay focused on your business. Take a policy with Phoenix Insurance today. We help you rise from adversity stronger and more secure. Contact us on 0302 246319 or 0302 246644 or any of our branches, agencies, and brokers spread across the nation. You can as well connect with us on our WhatsApp chatbot. Efiba is waiting to assist you. Make the future predictable with Phoenix Insurance. Phoenix Insurance, a delightful service experience delivered with wisdom.
Across the corridor and every major yard, GPHA is the choice of over 11,000 professional drivers. Visit our kiosk to register. Join a community built on safety, savings and success. Get your official high-vis gear and your personalized GPHA ID. Your key to a smarter journey. With over 11,000 members, you are never driving alone. This is the GPHA standard of excellence. Tap your card for instant fuel discounts at Shell. Save more on every fill and keep your profits high. Maximize your earnings with our real-time load board. Find your next haul instantly.
So throughout the week, a lot has happened at the port and in the maritime industry. This is what you missed.
Leadership of the Maritime and Dock Workers Union under the Trade Union Congress has held a 3-day constitutional conference from May 19th to 22nd, 2026 at the Pentecost Convention Center in the Central Region. The conference brought together members from various institutions, including Hull Blythe, the International Maritime Hospital, junior and senior staff unions, and the Ghana Dock Labour Company, among others, to review, amend, and adapt a new constitution that will govern the union and its members. The review process combined proposals from the MDU committee, recommendations from legal consultants, and provisions within the existing constitution to develop a revised constitutional document. Committee reports presented during the conference included those from the Credentials Committee, Management Committee, and Finance Committee. In his opening remarks, Secretary General of the Trade Union Congress, Joshua Ansah, urged executives and the members to accept the outcome of the committee's recommendations in the interest of strengthening the union.
I'm imploring all of you to behave in any way to bring peace to MDU. We have come to review our constitution. We must abide by the constitution.
Speaking to Eye on Port, General Secretary of the Maritime and Dock Workers Union, Divine Tamaklo, stated that the revised constitution will stand the test of time and ensure fairness for all members.
For 27 years, this has never been done. Anytime we go to Padrinia and we have constitutional things done, people try to hide it. They put it off the shelf. Instead of inculcating it into the constitution, they decide to put it away because it doesn't favor them. But you know, we are not doing this for ourselves. We are doing it for the future generation to come.
National Chairman of the Union, Victor Kwejo Amoa, said the reviewed constitution will help improve members' welfare and serve as a strong guide for the union.
There are various issues that have been tackled as far as welfare issues are concerned, as far as tenure is concerned, as far as representations are concerned, and also looking at the constitution as a guide for all of us, so that we can have a smooth tenure, so that we can also transfer if we have to go and others will have to come smoothly.
First Vice Chairperson of the union, Shelley Brimer, expressed excitement that the revised constitution will bring a facelift to the union and promote women's inclusion in traditionally male-dominated areas.
It has given us the eye-opener because now women, our voices will be heard. Once we get to conferences, we can also address our issues and ensure that conference adopts it, and then we can also run our program. So this constitution sincerely has been gender-friendly.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority marked the International HR Day Celebration 2026 on Wednesday, May 20th, under the theme, Empower People to Lead Change. The event brought together management and staff to recognize the critical role of human resource professionals in driving transformation, productivity, and excellence within the organization. The celebration highlighted the importance of empowering employees to take initiative, embrace innovation, and contribute meaningfully to organizational growth in today's rapidly evolving work environment. The director of the Port of Tema, Thebon Zuma Esquire, in his address emphasized the need to empower employees to take initiative and confidently contribute to organizational growth. According to him, creating an environment where staff feel valued, supported, and equipped with leadership and decision-making skills is critical to sustaining GPHA's 24-hour operational agenda.
We remind all employees that we are the greatest assets that we have, or we constitute the greatest assets for this organization. Our empowerment will begin when our employees feel that they are valued, they are supported, and they are given the opportunities to grow. We must continue to invest in our staff welfare, learning, leadership development, and our capacity building.
The General Manager for Administration, Dr. Samuel Dana, noted that International HR Day is globally dedicated to recognizing the invaluable contributions of HR practitioners whose work continues to shape organizations, strengthen leadership, and drive performance. He stated that at GPHA, while infrastructure, technology, and other assets remain important, it is untimely a competent, disciplined, and committed workforce that drives the success, sustainability, and continuous growth of the authority. According to him, this is why human resource management remains a critical pillar of the organization.
At GPHA, we see people as our assets, and they remain central to driving the performance of our organization. Issues about infrastructure, technology, and assets we have are all important, but without a competent human resource and disciplined workforce, all these commitments will have no bearing in the outcome of the organization. This is why human resource management remains a central pillar to the success of GPHA. Ladies
Management and staff of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority on Tuesday, May 19, 2026, received the Commissioner of the Customs Division, Aaron Kano, during his working visit to the Tema Sector Command. The visit was aimed at familiarizing himself with management and staff, addressing concerns, and improving working conditions for personnel. Speaking during the visits, Commissioner Aaron Kano commended officers and staff for their hard work and dedication over the years and called for continued support towards achieving the authority's goals.
You are doing well, you are working well, management is appreciative of whatever you are doing, so we are here to encourage you that keep it up and don't think that we are not taking note of all that you are doing.
The Tema Sector Commander, Assistant Commissioner Michael Isilfi Nelson, reaffirmed the sector's commitment to revenue generation for the country and appealed for improved working conditions for both staff and clients.
Tema has collected 31.63 of the allocated target for the year. Sir, we are committed to working tirelessly to achieve our target and exceed it with my dedicated officers.
Deputy Commissioner of Operations, Theresa Potaki, also charged officers to remain dedicated and diligent in the discharge of their duties and to always go the extra mile for the betterment of their service.
When officers are sent to warehouses, nobody wants to go. Then the calls start coming. I've worked here and I know, as 2IC and the sector, calls from everywhere because somebody has been sent to suspects. No, it is not right. Officers, wherever you are sent to, once you are in Tema, just go. You won't be at suspense forever. Go and serve your time there.
In a related development, Commissioner Aaron Kano paid courtesy calls on the Director of Ports, Tebon Zuma Esquire, and the Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Major General Paul Seydou Tani Kolunu, to discuss collaboration aimed at positioning Ghana's ports as a leading trade hub in the sub-region. Women leaders and professionals within Ghana's maritime and logistics industry have renewed calls for stronger implementation of gender inclusion policies to ensure greater participation, leadership, and excellence across the sector. The call was made on Monday, May 18, during Ghana's commemoration of the International Day for Women in Maritime, hosted jointly by Women's International Shipping and Trading Association Ghana and local chapter of the Women in Maritime of West and Central Africa at the BSM Training Center on the campus of Regional Maritime University. Held under the theme, From Policy to Practice, Advancing Gender Equality for Maritime Excellence, the event brought together women from the maritime, logistics, transport, and allied industries to reflect on progress made while advocating more deliberate action toward inclusion and leadership development. Speakers highlighted the importance of sustaining advocacy efforts while ensuring that institutional commitments translate into opportunity for women across all levels of the maritime industry.
Fortunately for us in Ghana, we are witnessing a new era of possibilities. Have you realized how women are rising to the top of the banking sector and all other sectors? Indeed, there's a transformation going on. Following the passage of the Ghana Affirmative Action Act, we should not see this merely as a legislation, but an opportunity. An opportunity for institutions, regulators, companies, and industry leaders to move beyond promises and implement measurable change. As women in maritime, we must position ourselves strategically to take advantage of this progress.
By uniting professional expertise of VISTA members and ladies in the transport and logistics space with WIMOCA's mandate to inculcate gender diversity into IMO shipping policies, we create a formidable force for change.
From policy to practice is not just a slogan. It is a call to move beyond boardroom documents and implementation of tangible, measurable changes that foster a truly equitable environment. It is through this practice that we achieve maritime excellence.
I challenge every institution represented here, whether it's WISTA, WIMOCA, WILAT, the Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers, our corporate partners, to ask themselves this critical question. What does practice look like in our organizations? That's a very important question we have to ask ourselves. It is mentorship programs that genuinely prepare young women for leadership. It is recruitment and promotion systems that remove bias and create equal opportunities. It is making room for women at decision-making tables, where policies are shaped and futures are determined. It is also ensuring that our daughters entering the maritime industry never have to question whether they belong there or not.
The event also featured solidarity messages from representatives of women-focused professional groups, including Women in Logistics and Transport Ghana and Port Ladies Association, who collectively called for stronger partnerships and continuous support systems for women in industry. The celebration also coincided with the annual general meeting of WISTA Ghana, during which elections were held to steer the affairs of the association for the next term. Stella Koba, Deputy Ship Registrar at the Ghana Maritime Authority, will now lead Vista Ghana as President of the association.
The GPHA Credit Union in Takoradi has organized a series of activities to mark its maiden Women's Inclusion Week celebration as it joins the renewed call for greater female participation in leadership and decision-making within the credit union movement and beyond. The week-long program, held from May 11 to 15, formed part of a national initiative by the Ghana Cooperative Credit Unions Association aimed at empowering women, promoting financial responsibility, and encouraging active participation in leadership structures. Activities during the celebration included leadership and empowerment sessions, community sensitization campaigns, donation activities, health screening exercises, and a float through parts of the Sekondi Takoradi Township. At the Naval Cluster of Schools, the union donated learning materials, including 2,000 exercise books, to support teaching and learning activities, while strengthening relations between the credit union and educational institutions within the community.
On behalf of the management of Sugar Regional Education Center, staff, and parents of the Naval Cluster of Schools, we would like to say a very big thank you for this kind gesture and support, because there are a lot of schools here, but you decided to come to us. So we want to say this is a very kind gesture. We say thank you very much.
Leadership of the credit union says the Women's Inclusion Week initiative is expected to become an annual platform to promote women's empowerment and leadership development within the cooperative financial sector and wider labor market.
We wish to take this opportunity to encourage all female members to take active part in the credit union leadership. The Bible said, where your treasure is, that is where your heart is. So today, as we mark the end of the 2026 Women Inclusion Week celebration, we want to take the opportunity to thank our apex body, Credit Union Association. We want to take this opportunity to tell GPHA, the mother body, for all the support, all the assistance. In fact, without them, this program wouldn't have been a success.
On Friday, we awarded a few of our members who have been outstanding. All of them were female, and we had to give them some recognition just to inform other women that when they improve on their performance, when they improve on their savings, when they improve on their repayment, they are likely to also be awarded in future.
We are doing this because we realize that there's a gap in terms of, if you look at the membership of our credit unions, majority of them are female. But when it comes to their leadership, we find very few of our females presenting themselves for leadership positions. And so, as a deliberate attempt by the National Association, we want to encourage our female members to be committed to our credit union movement.
And that was just by way of updates of what you missed this week at the ports and the maritime industry. But of course, the maritime industry, we know, moves 90% of global trade, yet women represent just 2%, of even less than that, of the world's seafarers. I mean, for years, policy documents have called for greater inclusion of women in the maritime industry. But the real question has been how to turn those commitments into real opportunities at sea and onshore. We've seen the frameworks, we've seen the conventions, we've seen the gender charters. Now we ask, where are the results? How do we build a maritime industry where excellence isn't limited by gender. This evening, our conversation from policy to practice, advancing gender equality for maritime excellence, which actually is the theme for this year's World Maritime Day celebration, will focus on the gap between what's written and the reality, and what it will take to move us from promises to progress. So we will examine how international policies like the IMO's gender program, national laws, and company practices are being translated into real careers, leadership roles, and safer work spaces at sea. My guests, of course, they bring experience from regulation, operations, and advocacy, and we'll ask them what's working, what isn't working, and what must happen next. And I'm so excited to have in the studio with me here, Paulina Abroka. She's the National Vice President of the Ghana chapter of the Women in Maritime of West and Central Africa, WIMOCA Ghana. She's also a member of WISTA, correct?
Outgoing Secretary.
Oh, outgoing Secretary of WISTA. I'm so excited to see you in the studio, and also to know it's an all-lady affairs, because we would also be joined later in the show by the National President of the Network for Professional Women in Maritime and Port Sectors in West and Central Africa. She's Abna Sewa Opoku. She's also the Marketing and Public Affairs Manager at the Port of Tema. I'll be excited to have her on the show because I know she has a lot to share on this conversation. But I think it will be appropriate and fair to do an assessment of where we are at the moment. So, of course, maritime, you just can't take out maritime if you want to talk about trade. And I mean, all the revenues that it brings to countries, and Ghana is inclusive. We've been advocating that women must be part of this because, I mean, it can't be complete without women. We know that less than 2% after all the noise we've been making. So what's the progress? Let's do an assessment of the situation so far.
Thank you, Aisha, and good evening to you. Good evening to your cherished viewers. I'd like to salute my bosses.
Okay.
So I'd like to salute Madam Janet Havman Adi. She's the Deputy Director, Maritime Services. She's also the President of WIMOCA Ghana. And then Madam Gertrude Adjo Ohene Esienim, who is the outgoing President of WISTA Ghana,
WISTA, yes.
The Executive Director of West African School of Shipping and CEO of Whitestone Shipbrokers. And then Madam Asana, Sylvia Asana Dada Owu, who is the regional president.
Very powerful woman.
Very powerful woman. Regional president of WIMOCA, right? And she is also the deputy CEO technical of the Ghana Shippers Authority. Emphasis on CEO and technical. And then also, I'm the incoming president of WISTA Ghana, okay. Madam Stella Koba, who is the deputy registrar at the Ghana Maritime Authority. And of course, Madam Jamila Mahama, who is just the outgoing
another strong
WISTA, yes,
and powerful woman.
international secretary, and also the first board chair woman of the Ghana Maritime Authority.
I think she's also a founding member of WIMOCA.
Yes, yes. So these are my bosses, and I really salute them. Thank you. So, women in the maritime, of course, like you rightly said, I mean, male and female created heathen. So we can't leave a critical mass like women out of the maritime sector, something that transport about 90% of our cargo, right? And so it's in order that this conversation is had. Of course, we've come from somewhere. It used to be 0, and now, like you mentioned, we are seeing what? Less than 2%, right? Do you know that less than 2% is about 49% increase in the participation of women?
Okay.
That's less than 2%. It's a 49% increase.
Yeah.
But with the commitment of organizations like the International Maritime Organization, things are improving. And women are occupying a lot more position.
Interestingly,
right?
all the women you mentioned are women who are blazing the trail out there in the maritime industry. People like Madam Jamila Mahama is one of the women I really respect when it comes to this industry. You mentioned Asana and all the others. I mean, they have also been contributing, but I would like to see more women doing the job.
And that's why conversations like this we are having. And thankfully, there are policies that appear to do a lot, to go a long way, because without policy or legal regulations, there's no way these things can happen, right? So they somehow forces government to look at the way of women in the maritime sector. So things are improving. Thankfully, with this year's celebration of the International Day of Women in Maritime, which took place in London, whilst we had RSA in Ghana, there was a handbook that IMO brought, which was authored by the World Maritime University, which is a handbook on gender mainstreaming in the maritime sector. And it's really a very powerful tool to, like you mentioned, bring in the action. Yeah. Because we've heard a lot, there's a lot on paper, but this handbook is showing the way how we should do it, right? So it identifies the barriers and then how best we can do it. So these are things that are helping, and very soon we'll see that the gap has really been bridged, and is great.
Paulina, that really shows that we are making a lot of progress. But from the freight forwarders' point of view, freight forwarding and logistics, what challenges continue to persist in that field when we talk about women within trade and transport and the transport chain?
Well, before I come to that, I would like to say a bit about Westa Umoka. We may have some viewers who would not know these institutions, and it's important that as part of advocacy to bring more women into the sector, we let them know what it is, right? So Umoka is the 8th Women in Maritime organization established by the World Maritime Organization. It's for women in maritime of West and Central Africa. It was launched in 2021 here in Accra. And we are currently active in 14 countries, 14 West and Central Africa. So we cover Francophone, Anglophone, and Lusophone countries. Then talk about Westa. Westa has been there for like 50 years. It's now 52 years. Yeah. And then is in about 60 countries with about 6,000 members. Okay. And some people will say, oh, why so many women groups? You know, the maritime industry is vast. It is. It's diverse. It is. And so you can't have just one women's group catering for everyone, because you have a set of executives who will be tired. But if there are a number of them, we can come together and we collaborate.
Rightly so, it is diverse. It has different wings. So definitely there must be different associations and groups.
Some men wonder, why don't you come together? No, we are working together.
They should also
we are collaborating.
They should also form associations.
We are just like that. We celebrated International Day of Women in Maritime. It was a collaboration between Westa and Wimoka, but we also brought Plus women in the port, we brought Willets and everyone, gift ladies and all of them. So we are collaborating and achieving so much.
I'm going to be talking about the role of Wimoka, and I'm going to also talk about the role of Westa, since we all agree that it's vast and it has different wings. Everybody does something different, but under the bigger umbrella called the maritime industry. But I just want to talk about this a bit about the freight forwarding and the logistics, and the fact that women also contribute a quota to, if you like, trade, transport, that chain, right?
Thank you, Aisha. That's my constituency. Because I'm a freight forwarder.
I know. I know you're very comfortable there.
And CEO of Trade Links Logistics Limited, right? Our sector, if you may know, you must know, we just had the first female chairperson of the Tema district. Wow. And as I speak, I'm the first female secretary of the Tema district. That's has been around since 1985. We used to be called the National Association of Customs House Agents, NACHA. Yes. 1985.
And it's been where male-dominated
male
over the
dominated
period.
throughout. And we
Yeah.
just had I think we had the election last year. The
That's
first woman chairperson
that's
of the
very
Tema district, which is
encouraging.
the most dominant district of all the
Very
districts,
encouraging.
right? And I am also the first female secretary.
Congratulations
right? So you can
on that
imagine.
feat. I
So,
mean, yeah.
and then you had Madam Regina Boate, who was our chairperson for the International Day of Women celebration. She was also the first woman second vice president.
Okay.
So you can see that the sector is male dominated.
It is.
And the laws we work with, the customs laws, the port enclave, it's not gender sensitive.
It is very
so we
technical.
Have to work. Yes, technical. So in terms of the knowledge, you must have the knowledge to be able to survive. You must live everything that male would do and everything. You have to do
you
that
must
to
have
be able to
the
survive.
strength to rock shoulders. And then, it's a survival of the fittest.
But we have a lot of the men who have opened the door for us
to
be where we are.
It's very critical, the support from men.
The men.
Yeah.
Because they took the lead. So they opened the doors. So
they must hold
for
our
us.
hands
Yes.
and work together with us.
And then what we are doing now is also open or keep the door open for other women to also
join.
occupy. But now there are a lot of, no, not a lot, but there are some women in there.
Let's talk about the challenges.
Challenges? Well, the working time is irrespective because you have jobs to do. The port works 24 hours, right? And as a woman, at a point, you have to go home to do your domestic stuff. But the work is not a respecter.
Yeah.
I've
had clients who say that I'll opt for a lady freight forwarder compared to a male freight forwarder. Reason is they feel the women, they keep their words. They tell you that, okay, expect me by tomorrow at noon, and they will deliver. If there's anything that's going to be a problem, they would alert you even ahead of time, compared to the male counterparts who will say, I can get it delivered by tomorrow, and then it will take weeks, and if you're not lucky, months. So it means that women are doing something right? And even if you go to the transport industry, they tell you that women are more careful when they're driving. Even recently, we've had women driving rich stackers at the port and all of that. They tell you that they are more careful when they are behind the steering. So that means that more women means we're taking our safety and security seriously, right?
Yeah, and more women means sustainability. And so, yes, we are doing our best because we know where we came from. We know that we're not even part of it, but we are now part of it, and we'll give it our all, right? And so that's how it's been. Every opportunity we have, we ensure that we maximize it. We don't say that, we are women, so we want this treatment or that treatment, because it may never happen. But whilst we are at it, we must deliver.
Women are versatile, just like the maritime industry is, and we can multitask. I mean, you can't take that away from us. It's inherent. It's our nature. So yes, I mean, the men can be jealous, but that's how we are made. So we can do many things at the same time, and we will do it right. Because we calculate before we do. I'm happy that you spoke about the fact that the men are helping us to penetrate into the system, and we're also opening the doors for other women to join. What's the role of WUMOCA in terms of access, visibility of women? And you cover Western, Central Africa, right?
Yeah.
In terms of getting women across all this board to be part of the maritime industry.
Well, so there's a lot of mentorship that's happening, capacity building program, right? And so these are things that we take seriously because we know that without capacity building, without continuous professional training, you cannot fit. You die in this industry, you won't survive. So we do that across board. In Ghana, for example, we have a collaboration with the Maritime Ladies Association together with Westar. And then because we know that they are the future, so we have to mentor them. This technical field, they need to understand, and it's our mentorship that will bring that. And then also, WUMOCA, across board, we are working on establishing the WUMOCA expert firm for visibility, right? Because there will always be conferences and seminars on topical issues, sustainability, on decarbonization and the rest, security and safety of the maritime sector, and where are the women? So by joining WIMOCA, you have that visibility because we have a seat at the table, and we are also known as experts who can handle some of these topics and champion advocacy in this regard. So we are about women empowerment, we are about capacity building, and through that, we are visible out there. For example, we are a link, we are IMO's link to the women in maritime, and so they recognize us as such and don't leave us in anything. We are also aligned with all IMO's policies. We participate in their meetings, and so we are very much visible.
Then let's talk about WISTA. WISTA is another group that has to do with women, but also has to do with transport, logistics, and what have you. Okay. What's the role of WISTA in all of this?
Well, similar, if you like, bringing these professional women in leadership positions together for them to be able to connect, for them to be able to grow together, right? And for WISTA, WISTA has a consultative status with the IMO, and then it also has observer status with UNCTAD. And so WISTA is also very much on the seat. WISTA and IMO collaborate on a lot of things. So for example, we have the WISTA, IMO WISTA survey, which every year churns out data regarding gender equality. And then also we have the IMO WISTA Speakers Bureau to also let us know the women in the sector, the experts, so that in terms of conferences, we can co-plan conferences together and all. And it's so far so good and so very beautiful in terms of capacity, empowering women in the maritime sector. For WISTA, we have the trade, we have the logistics, as you've mentioned, and they are pulling all of us together, which is very beautiful.
But every year we come together, we meet, we do conferences, we look at issues challenging women, we talk about women inclusion. We complete all of this with a communique, recommendation, and all of that. Sincerely, has enough been done in terms of encouraging the young ones to pursue careers in freight forwarding, logistics, and all these in the maritime sector?
Well, it can only be an ongoing thing. It can't be an event. It can only be a process, right? And so, yes, the conferences and the events, they bring conversations. They garner conversations around these topical issues of gender equality in the maritime sector. So we will not rule out their importance. But beyond that, of course, we take initiatives. Recently, WISTA Ghana did a donation to the St. Nicholas School. St. Nicholas School is a school at Tema, Newtown, in the heart of a maritime city. And we have a lot of them. We're told that some of them, the first batch are going to the university now. They're also going to experience the maritime. And by extending that help to them, we are also giving them hope and telling them that the industry there's an industry that exists. Aisha, let me tell you a story. When I completed school, I've never heard anything about logistics, right? Okay. And here I was, somebody recommends me for a job. The job was a branch of DHL. So when I went for the interview, the man said, "Oh, you are going to do so and so." And in the logistics side, I said, "What's logistics?" I was lost completely. I said, "But you're a graduate and you don't know anything logistics." I said, "I was a social science student." and I lost the job, right? He said, go and read about it and come back. By the time I was ready, the job was gone. Oh, and that is how I landed in the industry, because then I read and I said, oh no, this is an area I want to be. So being out there and encountering, especially the young ones, you can tell them that there's an industry called the maritime industry that's so diverse that you have an opportunity, right? And WISTA and all the WIMOCAs and the rest, we're not just about the professionalism, we're also about health. Yeah. So we collaborate to do things on breast cancer awareness. WISTA Ghana, I think in 2024 or 2025, we also did a donation to the childhood cancer unit of Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Okay. So all these things show that, yes, women, when we also extend that help. And it's also about, in our side empowerment, we are also giving hope to other people. Hope that there's an industry called the maritime industry that you can do a lot. Hope that no matter your health status or whatever situation you are facing, we see you and we are there to help you.
Thankfully, we've been joined by Abna Sewa Opoku-Fosu. She is the National President Network for Professional Women in Maritime and Port Sectors in West and Central Africa. She's also the manager for public marketing and public affairs at the Port of Tema. Grateful that you're able to join this conversation.
Hi, Aisha. Good evening.
My beautiful madam, good evening. And so you are the national president of the Network for Professional Women in Maritime and Port Sectors in West and Central Africa. How would you describe the progress of women in this sector?
Thank you, Aisha, and good evening to your viewers, and hello to Paulina. It's unfortunate I can't join you, but I will try and make my contributions from here. And coming from the port, I would say that we have seen significant progress over the years. We have come from the days of when Madame Mercy Coleman was the sole woman that we saw in port operations, and you know, in spite of her stature, she could command, you know, people to follow her lead and all of it. But then she was just a pioneer in the field. We have witnessed the likes of Madame Jebidonko combining the management of 3 operational terminals. And then we have also seen the culmination of all the efforts when Madame Sandra Puku was appointed as the first woman director of ports in the history of Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. So if you put all of this together, we can say that women have made very good strides. We are not there yet, but I think that we have come a long way. Now also we have seen women in the operational sectors, from marine operations to security to engineering. I'm talking about civil, mechanical, and then electrical. You have seen women in all of those places. We have seen women working the machines, even moving from the forklift to the rich stackers. We had a woman, the very first woman, working on the 144-tonner Liber crane. So women now are working and doing much better than previously, because 5 years ago, if you were asking for women in logistics, I mean, in the what we used to call the plant sections of GPHA, there were less than 10. Now we have over 50 of them, enough for them to even form the association Women in Logistics. So it tells you that progress has been made. We are not there yet. There's a lot that has to be done, but I would say that we have come a long way now.
That's very refreshing to hear. I know you're coming from a retreat from Winneba. You had certain goals for your association. I'd like you to share those with us.
Okay, so the Ghana chapter of the Network of Professional Women in Maritime and Port for West and Central Africa. And this is the women's wing that was created for the Port Management Association of West and Central Africa, what we all know as PAMWACA. And this network has been there since 1999, I think, and we are currently operating in 20 West and Central African countries. But the Ghana chapter is fairly new. Our branch was championed by Madame Esther Jebidonko, so we were launched 3 years ago, 2023, also with the support and guidance of our former Director General, Michael Luguji. So we just met to reflect on how far we have come within the past 3 years and to reposition ourselves to see that what can we do now that we have had the leads that we're looking for. How best can we position ourselves? And it also ties in with our goal, which is to ensure that we are, mentoring, we are learning, and then we are also empowering each other, giving each other a voice and encouraging confidence, visibility, and professional growth. So basically, that's what we did. The sub-theme that we chose was that we were retreating to rise and lead, which is also coming from the theme for this year's celebration of women in maritime. That is to say that from policy to practice. So how are we going to ensure? Somebody said, what does practice look like? So we went to discuss what practice should look like for us to get to where we need to be.
In terms of technical and regulatory careers in maritime, there used to be none when it comes to women, and I'm excited that you spoke about where we're coming from and where we are. Do you think that a lot of women are venturing into this arena, or there's still a huge gap that exists?
I think that women are now determined that we can be there. But what is required is that we have to be given the equal opportunity. We have to be considered that we can do it. You know, it does not have to be that we need to prove ourselves so much because we want to be noticed. But if you are asking a man and a woman to do the same job, but you already have it preconceived that, oh, the woman can do so much, but the man can do better. Those are things, the stereotypes that we are still trying to, you know, work our way for it to be done away with. That you give us both the room to work and also give us both the support system that we need. And then you can see that surely the women are equipped, like you said earlier, that there are certain qualities that are innate in women. The multitasking, the empathy, and all of it. And when you put all of these things together, it becomes a business asset to any industry. So in so long as we have been given the platform, we have been given the support, just like you give to the men, we can rise to we can even, as we say, we will do better. That is all that we are requiring, the support and the equal opportunity.
So let's look at the operational realities. And I'm bringing this because you are the marketing and public relations manager at the Port of Tema. You are in charge of all operations at the port. What operational realities are there that really impede the progress of women, or that does not allow women to actually thrive in this area?
I think that for me, I would want to speak on the fact that the preconceptions, like I said, you're coming in and we have this lingering perception that certain operational or technical rules are better suited for men. But we also know that in some cases, we women are still required to work harder, to do much better, to show our competence and leadership capabilities. And then we are also working in a highly demanding, physically and mentally and operationally, with the 24 hours that port operates. We are often under pressure, tight timelines, and often under emergency conditions. But it also puts some amount of pressure on your work-life balance. So where you are working and there's no support, or where you are working and the misconceptions and the biases are there, it does not help. But if you know that you've been given a task, you're doing it, and the whoever is behind you, the men, your allies, they are standing and cheering you on, as well as the other women, then there's nothing that should deter you from doing your very best. And like I indicated, people have come a long way. We have heard the stories of the women who started. They were the lone, pace setters. But now, like scripture says, we have a cloud of witnesses that are cheering us on. So for me, I am not looking at any woman saying that I didn't do it because I didn't get I felt lonely. There's the support system. The challenges are there. But we know that some people have done it ahead of us. And if we put our minds to it, we can. I mean, those who started when they were lone soldiers, they closed their minds and ears to what was happening behind them, and they paved the way for us. So in the port industry, with the strides that we have made, especially in Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, I think that there's still a long way for us women that we can go when we ourselves are motivated to get ahead and overcome the challenges that are there.
Abna, let me have you hold because Paulina is also here with me in the studio. In fact, you were supposed to be here. And we're wishing you speedy recovery, actually, because it just happened that you're a bit under the weather. But we're grateful that you are on. So please hold on for me, Paulina. She's speaking about the fact that there are challenges, even though we admit that we've made progress. Of course, we can only be honest so we can find the way forward. Let's talk about collaboration between freight forwarders, between logistics, regulators, shippers, in ensuring that we open up and make access very easy for people, more women, or more, including women or inclusion into this narrative.
Right. Of course, collaboration is critical because together we can do so much, right?
Definitely.
And so we have recognized that and we are working on it. Like I mentioned earlier, when we look at the International Day of Women in Maritime that we celebrated, we've got all the ladies associations in the sector involved, right? And we also had, I think in 2024, we had a trade conference. Westa had a trade conference together with USAID. We also brought a lot of women trading associations, not just in the sector, trading associations, including the AGI Women in Business, the Chamber of Commerce, and everything. So we are collaborating a lot because we know that that's where our strength lies. And of course, when we come together, it gives us visibility, and they know that, oh, this is a certain critical mass here that they deserve the opportunities, not just because they are women, but because they have the capability, they have the talent. And so we understand that so much, and we are doing it so well.
Okay, so if I haven't admitted, I want to bring you back here, Abna, because I spoke about the role of WIMOCA, I spoke about the role of WISTA. So let me ask you, you are the president for your group. In terms of helping women to build stronger professional networks, leadership skills, and career visibility, what's the role of your own association?
Okay, so for us, the Ghana chapter, the core objective is to promote inclusivity and to ensure that our members are well positioned so that when the opportunity comes, they are able to fill in the gap. And therefore, you're working and together with the ENMA, that is Enhanced Maritime Security for West and Central Africa, which is under the EU and Expertise France, we run programs for women who are into port security. We have also consciously been doing mentorship for students within our operational enclave, that is Tema and Tema Newtown area. And recently, we've also gone into Nungwat. We sort of collaborated with medical students from Family Health University to assist what we call Pad the Girls, so that we also help some girls at the secondary schools for feminine hygiene. I mean, these are all opportunities for us to reach out to the next generation and to let them know that we are there to guide them, to support them, so we can even guide some to come into our sectors. We've gone further into the Eastern region. We are working with about 12 girls that we are also helping to shape their career interests. And whether they come into the maritime industry or they do other things, it is so that we can have women well represented everywhere in the world. Because when women are elsewhere, we know that one woman comes on board, you open the door for about 10 others, not necessarily within our industry. But the more women there are within other sectors, we know then that the voices of women are heard. And women are better advocates of other women. I always believe that.
And I can see that I can see Paulina is actually nodding in the studio. That's so refreshing. But in terms of measuring real progress, what indicators, Paulina, do you think that Ghana's maritime industry should use as a measure?
Well, the measure is the policies that are coming out. For example, in 2024, Ghana had the Affirmative Action Bill passed, the Act 1121. Which is a good major step because it gives us a legal framework, right, that we can build upon it. And it's saying that for everything, there has to be that gender balance, gender equality. So if you have 100 men in the maritime sector, then there has to be a certain percentage, 50% of that should be women. So that is a good start. And it also gives incentives for especially the private sector that incorporate this. So for example, if you are given the gender equality compliance certificate as a private sector, then you enjoy tax incentives, you get preference in government contracts and all. These are opportunities, these are policies that is laying the foundation for a lot of work. So as women organizations or institutions, our thing is to push these things because few organizations know. My organization, I know that if I employ more women, I'm going to get tax incentives, I'm going to get preference in government contracts, because government is the biggest employer. Then I know, or the buyer, then I know that I'm going to employ more women. So the frameworks are there, it's for us to push. And conversations like this, and things like the IMO, the gender book, or the gender mainstreaming book that has been released by the IMO, is key. These are things, the tools that we can use to help us gender mainstream and ensure that there's what? Equity as far as gender is concerned. And Aisha, when we say gender equality, sometimes the men misunderstand that. They think it's just to the benefit of women. No, it's a recognition that they are male and female, right? So in planning programs, in planning policies, even the design of infrastructure in the workspace, right? You have to cater to the needs of everybody. So it's not just tilted towards women, but to everybody. So once we recognize these needs that, oh, we have this group, that group, and that each of them will have specific needs, then we can address to that and everybody enjoys, right, at the workplace. So the men, please don't think gender is about women, it's about everybody, it's about equity.
It's all about us.
Yes.
The two genders.
Because male and female created he them.
So, Abnasewa, we're all agreeing to the fact that women inclusion is very necessary, and the story cannot be complete if we don't include women. I just want to find your perspective of the fact that if we bring in our greater gender inclusion, what is the impact in terms of operational efficiency at the port, for instance? And if we want to talk about excellence, I mean, what impact do this bring?
Thank you, Aisha. Gender diversity, I always believe, brings broader perspective and also stronger collaboration. And more to that, also balanced decision making. And we know that diverse teams are often more innovative, adaptable, and they are also very responsive to operational challenges. And I do believe that women are empathetic, and this also contributes to significant problem solving and team coordination in any organization. So to have women as part of your critical decision making in any environment, you have more improved staff morale. You also have very responsive decision making at any level that you put, operational or business, and it also brings institutional excellence and service in your service delivery. So for me, we cannot afford, or the world cannot afford, the luxury of not including women in the top hierarchy of institutions, because then you are, not going to get what is expected, because you are depriving about 50% of the world's population the opportunity to be out there and to also help make better decisions.
Right. So it is tried and tested. Women, we won't say we are better than the men, but of course,
No,
when
that's
women
not
are
what we're
part,
going to say.
it's always effective, it's always efficient, and it improves excellence. When I return from this break, we'll be talking about moving maritime institutions beyond symbolic representations towards meaningful inclusion and leadership opportunities. We want to move from all the writings, the documents, and then face reality and look at what it takes to make progress, what it takes to rewrite the narrative. Please stay with me. I'll be right back.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefi. Goil, good energy. Yeah, yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Welcome to today's edition of Serene Insurance Business News. We present to you Serena.
You're right. You can complete an entire insurance process for the purchase of any motor and other insurance products, from onboarding to issuing a motor insurance sticker and policy certificate, all on WhatsApp in less than 10 minutes. Serena is simple to use and it prioritizes user ease and flexibility. You can either use voice notes or text to effortlessly issue your instant policy, cross-platform renewals, claims, and also process your payments through mobile money, Visa, and MasterCard. To engage Serena, just search for Serena Insurance on all social media handles and scan the Serena barcode or save her number 0500 517 114 and start chatting her on WhatsApp immediately.
There you have it. Serena is not just a tool, it's an innovation by Serene Insurance designed to redefine how motor and travel insurance are accessed and managed. Speed, convenience, and reliability.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
At Phoenix Insurance, we make the unpredictable predictable and the uncertain certain with our range of products, including motor insurance, fire insurance, engineering insurance, marine insurance, accident insurances, and all types of bonds. We have you covered. We also support you with risk management advice to enable you stay focused on your business. Take a policy with Phoenix Insurance today. We help you rise from adversity stronger and more secure. Contact us on 0302-246319 or 0302-246644 or any of our branches, agencies, and brokers spread across the nation. You can as well connect with us on our WhatsApp chatbot. FIBA is waiting to assist you. Make the future predictable with Phoenix Insurance. Phoenix Insurance, a delightful service experience delivered with wisdom.
Across the corridor and every major yard, GPHA is the choice of over 11,000 professional drivers. Visit our kiosk to register. Join a community built on safety, savings, and success. Get your official high-vis gear and your personalized GPHA ID, your key to a smarter journey. With over 11,000 members, you are never driving alone. This is the GPHA standard of excellence. Tap your card for instant fuel discounts at Shell. Save more on every fill and keep your profits high. Maximize your earnings with our real-time load board. Find your next haul instantly.
Welcome back to Iron Pot. We've been talking women inclusion in the maritime sector, a place described as a male-dominated environment, and we've been digesting and looking at how we can allow more women to penetrate in this sector. Of course, we just celebrated the International Day for Women in Maritime, and with the theme, Advancing Women, definitely we have to look at the way of making progress. So after this celebration, we've made all the noise about women. What practical steps, Paulina, are needed to ensure that gender equality becomes embedded within institutional culture and not just saying it and letting it pass?
Thank you, Aisha. So I'll go back to the handbook, the IMO handbook on the gender mainstreaming. It outlines some things that at the organizational level we can do. So the first one is to conduct a document analysis or a gender analysis, right, in each organization. So go in there, find out, collect gender disaggregated data. Then after that, you develop a gender equality action plan, right? So because we are moving from policy to practice, so they are giving us the steps to do that. So you develop a gender equality action plan. Then you include KPIs in it, right? And then you do what? Monitoring and evaluation. So you monitor what is the progress. Are we making progress? You analyze this data. So these are the steps to ensuring that at least we are moving from just talking to doing. And I recommend this book to everyone to do. And of course, here in Ghana, we have like I mentioned, the Gender Equality Act, the Act 1121, or the affirmative. So we have to look at, there are a lot of beautiful things in there that aligns with, and we have some very ambitious targets. So for example, the Act says that by 30% of women representation in public offices, in governance positions, in decision-making roles, leadership positions across various sectors of the economy. So we are talking 30% by 2026, which we are in 2026 now, right? Then we have 35% of women representation by 2028 and 50% by 2030. And this is something we have to monitor. And then ensure that it is happening for us, because I think that if we don't do that as women, interested groups and parties, we will never get these things. But the fact that they are there is the foundation which we must push to build on it. But before I hand over, I would like to acknowledge Hafnia. Hafnia is a tanker operating company, and they absorb all our cadets, women. So all the women that RMU are training in nautical science and in marine engineering, they absorb them. So you will not finish the school and now be looking for a job, but the job is ready for you, thanks to Hafnia, right? Kudos to them. Kudos to them. But the barrier here is also the fees in the training. Right? We have access, but we don't have opportunity because the fees are in USD. And how many people can afford that? So there's also just like Hafnia have taken absorb the graduate, we also need support in the payment of the
for the
schools to get
training,
more people, because they are even looking for more women, but they can't because of this barrier of the funds. So it's very important that organizations come on board to support, right, with the incentives that the government says you will give to those who, support women. The door is open. Shipping lines, freight forwarding companies, we can all support. Pay a girl child school fees at Regional Maritime University. For Westa, what we are doing is that we award the best maritime and nautical science students. So every graduation, Westa is there to present an award to the best female nautical science and marine engineering student. That's our own way of helping. But beyond that, we are raising awareness that we need support for the fees of
Westa is doing well, but also I'm going to be finding out how we can strengthen mentorship and professional development in terms of young people. And you've already spoken about how Westa is encouraging people to do well. So you award the best student in a certain sector if they do well. But of course, how can we strengthen mentorship and professional development? But let me remind viewers that you're part of this conversation, so you can send in your WhatsApp messages to 0538 037353, 0538 037353. You can also call us on 0245 834980, 0245 834980. The numbers are on your screen. You can call in or share a message on the conversation. And Babatunde already has sent in the message. He says, I'm curious, Iron Port, is Ghana doing better than other West African countries when it comes to gender inclusion in maritime? Well, I'm not sure we're doing comparison, but do you know, Paulina, your association covers Central and Western Africa. Are we doing better?
Well, we are all on it, right? I don't have the data specifically,
we're doing our best.
But we are on it.
Yes, I remember
but Ghana
that
is doing well.
Yes, I think the last time your meeting was in Ghana.
Yes.
I
our
was privileged
AGM,
to
yes,
MC your activities, and I know that from other African countries were part of the conversation. Yes. And I know that at the end of your meeting, you all agreed on how to bring more women on board, not only from Ghana, not from Nigeria, not from Benin, from across borders. So that's a good one that you guys are doing. But of course, the bit about mentorship and professional development, you agree with me that is very, very important. Because even if the young ones will be attracted to this whole idea of getting into maritime industry, starts with training. If people are not trained and they do not get into the system, they really don't know what is there for them, what are the opportunities. So it starts with mentoring, professional development. What are the opportunities? What is Wista's role in this? How can Wista help in strengthening this tool?
Just like I mentioned earlier, we have adopted the Maritime Ladies Association, which is an association of the female students of the Regional Maritime University. And that covers diverse fields in the maritime sector. So that's one of the things. We organize mentorship programs for them, right? Beyond that, you have people that come to you one-on-one to maybe ask you questions, to give them directions, which we do a lot. Right, so if you take, for example, Madam Gertrude Dohina, who is a lecturer at the Regional Maritime University, you have a lot of people coming to you because they have access to you. Myself, I'm also a trainer in the field, and so we are doing a lot as a group, bringing them together to tell them, coach them, or on one-on-one basis, right? As people that we work with, we encounter every day. They come to us, and we also have to sometimes take programs to them. So we are very much at it because we know that mentorship is the way to go. Like I mentioned earlier, the industry is vast, like the sea. So you can get lost easily. Yes. You can lose focus, and you need a hand-holding. And that we are at it. And we'll be at it.
I'm told Esther is on the line. Esther, where are you calling us from? And please keep your message brief. Good evening. Welcome to Iron Port.
Good evening. My name is Esther from Amasama.
Okay, let's hear you, Esther.
All right. My name is Esther. I'm calling from Amasama.
Right.
Hi, Paulina. This is Esther, GPHA. I did my service with you.
Okay.
Long time. Please, I hope you are doing well. I'm very proud of you. I saw you and I was so excited that you didn't stop at where we met and you are going higher and higher like that. Keep it up, eh?
Right.
All right.
Thank you very much, Esther, for calling in. I have a message from Abigail from Takrade who says, what message do the panelists have for girls in secondary schools who may want to pursue maritime careers someday?
They should come.
What's the way?
Course,
because
the
for
way,
all you know,
of
yes.
course. So you
Show
are hearing
them
about
the
the
way.
maritime, so you take the maritime courses because this is a very technical field,
Definitely.
right? So Regional Maritime University is there. At least that's what I recommend. And then once you enter the field, there are a lot of things to know. So, of course, we've mentioned the associations which we had. You can contact us because we have a branch. Wester has a branch in Takrade.
Yeah.
So contact us, get more details about it, where to go, which path to take, and the rest.
Yeah.
And then Aisha, I have to mention that WIMOCA currently through mentorship has given opportunity to young ladies. So if you take our executive, some of our secretary, she's a young woman, an upcoming man with Ghana Maritime Authority, as well as some of them. So we are also not just telling them, but we are also giving them the opportunities to do it and to shine.
Right, that's how time will allow us. Thank you so much, Paulina, who is the Paulina Brokwa, National Vice President of the Women in Maritime of West and Central Africa, WIMOCA Ghana. Thank you so much. And we're also joined by Abna Sewo Pokufosu. She is the National President, Network for Professional Women in Maritime and Port Sectors in West and Central Africa, and Marketing and Public Affairs Manager at the Port of Tema. And Iron Port, remember, is brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Gold PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. And the show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority-GPHA. Do make a date to catch our abridged version on GTV. It's Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Good morning, Ghana. Wake up to the big matters